What's up, everyone? Axel here. I'm from Axetruth.com, and this is where I cut through the bullshit. And we're back. We're still on to watermelon seeds. Eric Adams, that he has been, when I do my live shows and I talk about these Democrats and their policies and how awful they are, then here come the receipts everywhere to just expose them for the frauds that they are. All video, sound, and music used during this broadcast falls under fair use. Fair use is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe on copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Now let's get right into it. Chris Baugh is an aide. He was one of Mayor Watermelon Seeds Adams' aides, and he was a little loose lip sinking ships with one of Project Veritas' undercover people that they use. Now, this guy's giving me Skittles, so I'm not thinking this is a honeypot, but this probably was his good girlfriend at the job or whatever, and he's, and they're sitting there talking, and we're gonna go through this first. We're gonna break this first video that Project Veritas did. I'm gonna give my commentary on it, and I'll put the links to the videos below so you can go and watch watch Project Veritas. I mean, the work that they do and playing back these people saying the things that they say, and people try to say that he selectively edits. Once the words come out your mouth, no matter which order they put it in, you just said it. They incriminate themselves. But Chris Baugh has no sympathy. He talks about, the vaccine, the mandatory vaccines that they had in New York, and the city workers that lost their jobs, and they have no sympathy for those who lost their jobs. Now, my problem with everything that he's saying, with anything that he says in this, is when we get to the part when he says COVID is over, and they're about to stop requiring you to be vaccinated to work in the city. So why was it ever? So the people who lost their jobs should get their jobs back. If it's over and you're not going to require it anymore, what about these people who laid off? But he doesn't have any sympathy for them. And this is also I think, and when he's talking, why this exposes not only him, it exposes the Democrats, how all this, when it came to making it mandatory for people to have, and now knowing what we know about it and how it doesn't stop transmission. So why was it ever mandated? Why? We know this for a fact. They have admitted it. And for him to still talk like this, it lets you know this is how they all think. It exposes the Democrats for who they are.
1,400 people voluntarily quit their jobs rather than get vaccinated. They don't deserve their jobs back. They chose not to do a very, very harmless thing that protects the rest of society. I don't give a shit. They're like, this is unfair. F***ing deal with it. We're allowed to set the terms of employment. Period.
What's the mayor say?
He said they quit. Why should they get their jobs back? They quit.
The mayor thinks he's got ambition for running for president, and this is it for you. No, you can't. You are very corrupt, and lots of other issues.
Now, let's get back to this right here. Okay. The mayor, Eric Adams, thinks he has ambitions for running for president. He said, "I'm like, this is it for you. You can't run for president. You're corrupt." So this aide is telling the truth. Number one, we're talking about Mayor Watermelon Seeds, and we've heard him talk and everything. No, dude, please don't think. Well, anything can run over there in the Democratic Party, but you'll never be president of the United States. But I like how this aide is, basically telling the truth about this mayor as far as, he's incompetent.
No, you can't. You are very corrupt, and lots of other issues.
How so?
He's worth $2.5 million and has rental properties. and like all he's ever done is be a cop and a civil servant.
He's worth $2.5 million. He's been a cop and a civil servant. Where's this money coming from? Of course he's corrupt, just like the rest of them. All the Democrats are, you know. So here you go, Ken.
Not saved. And I'm like, you're right.
What can he do about it, or what is he doing about it?
You know, misdemeanor crimes are up 25%. We're arresting people who are jumping subway turnstiles. I just always joke that I'm like, New York's sort of like Hogwarts. Like, it's a lot of fun, great opportunities, and people die.
Has he made any like changes with that in the city?
Not as mayor. Like, he did a lot of stuff as a police captain. He was one of the loudest voices, like calling out various elements of the PD. Like the police captains union didn't endorse him in the primary.
Why not?
Because he had been really aggressive against them.
The cops are mad at us though, because we roll back the private sector mandate, but are rolling back the public sector mandate. So.
What does that mean?
Like public service employees still have to be vaccinated, but we were requiring all private employers to mandate vaccines as well, and we've stopped doing that. So
Why?
They can't require a private sector to do it. See, that's the thing. That's private sector. They don't have to. You couldn't do it. If they said they weren't going to do it, you couldn't require it. But, you know.
Who gives a shit? Like, COVID's over. This is the short answer. Why are we still doing it for the public sector? I don't know.
Who gives a shit? COVID's over. Wow, it's over. Who gives a shit? It's over. While we're still doing it, I don't know.
Why are we still doing it for the public sector? I don't know. We'll probably stop that in a few months.
Will the people be able to get their jobs back that lost them?
Probably not.
Why not?
I have no sympathy for them. Like, they made a choice. They chose not to do a very, very harmless thing that, like, protects the rest of society. 1,400 people voluntarily quit their jobs rather than get vaccinated. They don't deserve their jobs back. We have thousands and thousands of vacancies in city government right now. I'm worried about filling all of those jobs more than I'm worried about giving people who volunteered to leave their job back.
And it's primarily.
So you want to fill those jobs, which means those jobs you have to bring new people in and train them to do those jobs effectively. But you have people already trained and ready to go to work, but they don't want to give them their jobs back, even though they're going to stop requiring it. This is Democrats. This is Democrat policy. That's why I said this guy has exposed the Democrats. This is how big this is. This is terrible. But this is how, you know, it's over. We're going to stop it in a few weeks. Tough titty if you were one of the ones that quit, which a lot of people, they shouldn't have quit. They should let them fire them.
Nurses, firefighters, and cops.
I think mostly cops and firefighters.
And that's why they're mad now.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't give a shit. They're like, this is unfair. Can deal with it. We're allowed to set the terms of employment. Period.
What does the mayor say?
He said they quit. Why should they get their jobs back? They quit. Again, I have no sympathy for those people. That was the rule. You had a very cushy government job. You can always go not work for the government.
So a cop in New York City, if you saw my last video, they have a cushy government job. They can get killed on the job. They have to fight and wrestle these crazy, these lunatics, these criminals, these mentally ill people. He don't care. And they have a police shortage in New York. They have keep in mind, they have a shortage on police. Where are you getting these cops from? How are you going to fill those positions? See, this type of dude needs to get the hotsy-dotsy. He needs to get out of there and something needs to happen to him. And that happened to him in that city with these criminals.
Although for a while you just had to move out of New York, which was great. Again, no one was required to get vaccinated. You just had to get vaccinated if you had a job. So, could have moved to Florida. being a cop is like the cushiest gig in the city. Like, you might get shot, but otherwise it's very good. I forget what the stats on the subway are, but it's like 1 violent crime per million people, but like 2 million rioted a day or something. So it's like, individually, likelihood is very low. Aggregate, someone's getting stabbed on a subway. 1,400 people.
You know, in the aggregate, someone's going to get stabbed, but, you know, you may not be one of the lucky. You know, your chances are you getting stabbed is very low because there's so many Democrat policies being exposed. Democrats are being exposed. Chris Baugh is now fired, terminated for this. And Mayor Watermelon Seeds, he responds about Chris Baugh. He says he fired him because he talked about first responders, not about him. You know, because people crap on him all the time. Yeah, right.
What's up, Dana?
So this program is about giving people a first chance, a second chance. Curious why you weren't willing to give Christopher Baugh.
I want to do what?
I'm curious why you weren't willing to give Christopher Baugh, the Project Veritas guy, a second chance, particularly since you've given so many of your colleagues and friends second chances and often talk about the importance of that.
The first tape we saw, Christopher made disparaging remarks about me. The team came to me and stated, you know what, are we getting rid of him? And I said, no, you know, people crap on me every day. You got to be thick-skinned. This is what being a mayor is. Being a mayor means you're crapped on, you know? But when you have disparaging remarks about first responders,
Yes.
that's unacceptable. It's not tolerated. My team didn't have to call me again. I said, that's not acceptable. I know what first responders went through. I cannot allow that to happen, and my team cannot be a part of that. So it wasn't about giving him, we did give him a second chance. The first day, team came to me, I said, no. Got to be thick-skinned in this business. But my first responders don't have to be thick-skinned, and I'm going to stand up for them.
I have a two-part question.
What's up, Dana?
He is such a joke. Wow, New York is in trouble with this one. He's going, but I'm predicting that he's going to get caught up in some kind of big scandal that he's going to have to resign or something. He's just that dumb. This is a dummy, straight up dumb. You know, that's the answer he gave to me. You have to have thick skin. You know, people crap on me all the time. I fired him because he talked about the first responders. No, he exposed the game. And he wasn't finished with that. You know, he wasn't finished because this is the part I want to get to. Now, when he talked about the migrant crisis, and he says he exposes that the city is broke. This got to be a Skittles. He said it's broken. It kind of scares me because y'all may not get paid. They're broke. And he's telling the game here, and he talks about how the migrant crisis, it's terrible for the city. They can't handle it, but yet just bring them on in anyway. Democrat policies are being exposed. This is exposing the whole game with them. That's why you have to look at people who you know. I think about people in my family that's still over there on that side. I'm going like, what are y'all doing? You're not even paying attention. This is ridiculous because I got a cherry on top after we go cut through this shit with Christopher Baugh.
The city is broke, which makes me very nervous as someone who is paid by the city. We're anticipating like a $10 billion budget deficit by 2026 right now. There was free money from the government for the last 2 years because of COVID.
Yeah.
All of that's gone. And then our revenues just aren't in a place to support $110 billion budget. Like, that's the annual city budget right now.
Can you just raise the taxes?
The mayor doesn't want to. I mean, that is an option. Or we could, like, reduce services.
What do you mean?
Like, just not give people enough stuff.
Like what?
I don't know, pick something. Department for the Aging, immigrants. Like, we're housing immigrants right now from Texas. It would be very easy to be like, nope, not anymore. How much money are we spending on that?
Is it because we're a sanctuary city, or
Yeah, our rule is everyone here is entitled to shelter. Like, sanctuary city is such a dumb term. The city has a right to shelter law. No one in the city is supposed to sleep on the street. People do, but they do it by choice. So the Republicans were like, here are 11,000 people we don't want to deal with. And like, our laws state we have to take care of them. That is the law of the city. The law is not designed to say, like, we want asylum seekers to come to New York City. That's not the design of the law. And then they're like not telling us when these people are coming, not telling us when the buses are arriving, not
As if they get told on the border states. Again, see, this is how dumb liberals are. They're not telling us who's coming, how many's coming. They don't get a, they don't know who's coming, how many's coming, or anything like that. They're just coming. So since the border states have taken they have reached their limit, now they're pushing them right on over to the sanctuary city where they have right to shelter. You know, but yet this is how these liberals look at this. Oh, the Republicans are doing this. No.
telling us who's on the buses. It's a shit show.
Can't we just like amend our right to shelter laws?
I mean, we could. We're choosing not to.
Oh, it's like
We could repeal it, but I think that would cause a lot more blowback than what we're currently doing.
I mean, has it been discussed?
No. There's no appetite for it. The mayor, I mean, that's the end of his political career to even suggest that. His political career is already on thin ice. Like, if the mayor did that, everyone would resign. They'd be like, all right, I'm out. Like, this guy. Like, I have colleagues in government who were going to resign if the mayor put a cap on immigrants, on migrants coming. If he was like, after 20,000, like, we're not taking care of them, they were going to resign over it.
How many will we accept?
All of them. Like, we don't like it, but we'll take as many as they keep sending.
Right, but the law is for New Yorkers. Are they New Yorkers as soon as they get here?
The law is for anyone in the city. You don't need an ID, you don't need anything.
But we're building housing for them elsewhere. We're building
city. Like, housing is a loose term. We're parking these people in like plastic tents on Randall's Island. Like, they're not.
You got to laugh at how these white liberals talk. Oh, we're putting these people. We're back to that again.
Getting good stuff, and we're kicking them out of hotels because it's tourist season and hotels want to raise their rates. Like, it's a proposition any way you cut it.
There was talk about like us just limiting the number of migrants we would accept, and I'm glad that we didn't do it that way. I think what Abbott was doing has like proven effective. Like, it's flooded our system. We have more people in social services than we've ever had, potentially ever in history. So it's like, it's effectively demonstrating the strength.
You guys won't get like federal help then?
I mean, we're asking for it, but I don't think there's federal help to be offered. Like, I don't think Biden is in a position where he's going to be like, all right, New York, here's $1 billion, thanks. But I think the optics of this are bad for Biden, and they're bad for the mayor. And I think Biden's saying like, all right, I'm just going to give away money to New York City because like they can't take care of these migrants is going to just be bad politics for him. And frankly, I don't know how much Biden is going to appreciate having a mayor be like, hey, you owe blue cities money because of this migrant crisis. Like, eventually it's going to make Biden look bad, which we're a month out from the midterms, and he's not going to like that. So it's like, it's a very perilous situation for him. And I don't know that Eric Adams is like capable enough to navigate it. And ultimately, it's like us struggling to comply with our own laws, like our right to shelter laws. I'm not tied to this guy the way that a lot of my colleagues are. Like, you know, they're on this ride because they think he's going to be the president, and they're wrong.
And they think he's going to be the president. Eric Adams, watermelon seeds. Now, let me get to that last part just to show you their response right here on what they said. Let me bring that back up here.
The city is broke.
Wait, here. Well, let's get here. All right, it says, time and again, Project Veritas has lied and spliced video to spin a false narrative and deceive the American people. No one has any reason to believe a word from an enterprise run by a convicted criminal and one that had admitted lying in efforts to even have a conversation with a member of our team. That's Fabian Levy. Levy, what kind of name is that? The press secretary, that's his response. Listening to Chris Baugh pour out and talk about this migrant crisis and how they really can't afford it. They have no place to put them. And they want federal money, but yet the Biden administration is not going to give them any federal money because they're sending it to Ukraine. You can't make this shit up. James O'Keefe, y'all did an excellent job with this. And this part about the migrants is what really is like. Just when I heard him talk about it like that, to say, we're gonna put them in these tents. It's not really like a shelter. It's just loose, But I guess you're gonna house them in tents forever then, because you don't where are you gonna put them? You're gonna take them out of the hotels because it costs too much. Because these hotels are charging the taxpayer, coming out of a budget of running up a deficit in New York City because there's no money. They're in the hole. They don't have any money. They're broke. But keep bringing in more migrants. We'll take as many as they come. It doesn't matter. There's no cap on it because he's going to run for president. And it won't sit well. Democrat policies exposed. Now here's the cherry on top. Here we have a shelter, a men's homeless shelter in New York City next to the newly built shelter community center for the migrants. And the migrant center, now you're going to get to see the difference between the two. The migrant center has couches, nice couches, a bunch of flat screen TV with with Xbox, I guess, or PS4 games in there for them to play. They get 3 meals a day. They have condiments on the table. They get bottled water. They have a juice bar in there. But the American homeless shelter is nothing like that. And what's staying in that homeless shelter? The news is interviewing Black Americans. Here's the cherry.
We get treated better. They get treated better than us. That's not fair.
They treat you wrong like you're lower than nothing.
Gabriel de la Cruz and Lee Brown live in a men's homeless shelter that is about 350 yards as the crow flies from the new tent city for migrants opened by the city this week. But in terms of treatment and quality of life, the centers are poles apart. The pictures tell the tale. Men at the migrant center, who are only supposed to be here for 4 days, have a recreation room with multiple TVs, plush couches, telephones for calling home, Xboxes, foosball tables, and games. The recreation room at the homeless shelter, where men stay indefinitely, has a single TV and uncomfortable molded plastic chairs. That's it.
That looked like a prison recreation room. Just a TV with some plastic molded hard plastic chairs, not like what the immigrants are getting. See, isn't that a shame? And what did they show you who's staying over? Black men.
That's it. The migrants have a cafeteria with condiments on the table, a rotating menu of South American specialties, even bottled water and soft drinks in coolers. There are no condiments on the tables at the shelter. Water comes from a red and yellow jug, and the meals, overcooked mac and cheese, appears to be a staple.
Now, do you hear that with what they get at the? Let's go back. I want y'all to hear that once again. They getting a South American cuisine cooked for them. They're getting a special menu, 3 meals a day. South American cuisine.
A cafeteria with condiments on the table, a rotating menu of South American specialties, even bottled water and soft drinks in coolers. There are no condiments on the tables at the shelter. Water comes from a red and yellow jug, and the meals, overcooked mac and cheese, appears to be a staple.
Oh, the food is garbage, man. Forget about it. The food is just garbage, man. It's not cooked well.
Lee Brown says the elevators are always broken.
I'm a diabetic. Right now, I got to walk up 6 flights of stairs. 7 flights of stairs.
Both men say Mayor Adams should even the playing field.
He should make it even. We've been here for the longest, and we getting treated the worst.
I put the question to the mayor.
This is not about comparing those who need assistance and care from the city. We're not doing that. There's always going to be reasons that people are going to feel as though someone else is getting something better than them.
Once again, they just feel that way. It's a perception. It's not reality. You know, even though we just saw the big difference, the stark difference in what they're doing for the migrants. These people who come here illegal, they're not supposed to be here. And these are Americans who have been here. And all they're asking for is, well, can we get the same thing they're getting? I mean, can we get at their... I mean, he said, you know, and he's basically sitting up here denying it, saying that, you know, that's just how you feel.
People are going to feel as though someone else is getting something better than them. My job is to make sure everyone gets a place to sleep that's safe, 3 meals a day, and the support that they need so they can cycle out of being in the shelter.
The mayor ducked the question of whether the cost of caring for the 21,000 asylum seekers who have now arrived here will force the city to cut other services.
And it's an economic challenge. We need money from the White House. We need to allow people to be able to work.
Well, so far, the city has not received a dime from the feds, but the mayor said he was grateful for new border policies that have slowed the flow. Today, for example, only 2 buses arrived from Texas. It used to be 9 or 10 a day. That's what the mayor said.
Really, there are only 2 buses now, but it was 9 or 10 a day, and, you know, I'm glad we're doing something at the border now to slow the flow. What? Aren't the Democrats about open borders? Let them all in. What do we do? We don't need to do anything at the border. Remember, we don't need a wall. I remember my family talking about, you know, that's a waste of money. But we can send money to Ukraine, all this money to Ukraine, and then to see how black, you know, and it ain't just blacks that probably staying in that homeless shelter, but I'm pretty sure the majority are. But it doesn't matter what color they are. They're Americans. And look how they're being treated. And he's saying, it doesn't matter. You're just imagining it, that someone is getting something better, and we just saw it right there. That's how much of a liar. He just will lie. It's disgusting. Mayor Watermelon Seeds. That's why I call him Watermelon Seeds Adams. These Democrats are disgusting. And I'm so glad that Project Veritas, this is a long video here, but I just had to break this down to show you. And y'all, I want you to put your comments below and tell me what you think about this. But what I had to say the best for last was about these migrants. Because Trump had the right plan, but he was called a racist for it. Because every country, you're not a country if you don't have borders and laws that on how you come into the country. You come here the right way to become a citizen. You don't come here illegally. You can't do that here. But they're doing it because they need a replacement. They need voters. That's what the Democrats need. And that's what they want them here. And they also need to cause civil unrest by bringing all these migrants into these countries where you don't have the resources to handle it. They want civil unrest. Put your comments below. Share the video. Subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think about this with Project Veritas and how this was just excellent how he exposed not only the mayor, but all of these Democrats, their policies and how they looked at from everything from the shot to these illegals. And this is why that's why they are a dead party. Dead. Peace out, everyone. Be blessed. Have a blessed day.